I was working so hard, Sophia, in cold weather in Canada. I was door knocking every day. I was cold calling every day, and I was not getting the result. Even with real estate coaches, I got a little bit of better result, but I was working way too hard, and I knew something is wrong. I come from a traditional family from Iran. As a woman at that time in my life, no one told me you need to learn a skill to make money. So the goal for a woman, for a girl, was to get married. But one day I saw this YouTube video of Bob Proctor. They were offering a free event, paradigm shift, and they said, everything you're experiencing in your life is a direct reflection of what is going on inside of you. And that's your paradigm. And I was like, oh my God, this is what I want. I applied to become a licensed coach with Proctor Gallagher Institute, quit real estate, and I became a coach. And I've been doing that for a few years full time now, teaching people how to manifest money, business, success, relationships, fulfillment, happiness. When you have a passion and desire for something, it's because the fulfillment of that desire already exists, and that fulfillment, that existence is calling you.
What does the future look like for your mission? How can others be a part of it?
I'm going to manifest it. More people who are really looking to go after their dreams, go after their desires, and do not settle. Those are my kind of people. And even if you don't know how.
Hey everyone, it's Sophia from Sacred You. Thank you so much for being here. A quick message before we dive into today's conversation. You may have been watching the podcast videos, but have not had a chance to hit that subscribe button. So if you have ever gained value from our videos, from our conversations, it would mean so much to us if you would hit that subscribe button below right now, or even just give us a like. And what that means is not only does it allow us to grow our subscriber base, but it allows us to bring in more important guests for you to listen to. And you will be one of the first ones to be notified. So please hit that subscribe button and let's get started on today's conversation. Welcome to the Pathways to Wellbeing podcast. Of course, my name is Sophia from Sacred You, but with me today we have a very special guest, Helia, who's joining us to talk about a topic that I think, Helia, is relevant to so many people, and that is manifesting a dream life. So welcome. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much, Sophia, for having me and for the opportunity.
I'm looking forward to it. So before we get into manifesting in your dream life, would you like to tell us about your life? Because I do believe you've been living a dream life too. How did you get into manifesting and where you are now?
Wow. Oh boy, where do I start? Oh, my life is definitely has not been a straight line like so many other people. I have immigrated to 2 different continents in my life, originally from Persia, moved to Europe when I was 20 years old, and then moved to Canada, and I live in Canada now. I've changed jobs, businesses so many times, relationships more than once, and I have experienced so many different things in life, ups and downs and hardships, and also experiences, which I am very grateful for. Um, Manifestation, I've always been interested in, first of all, I think the closest thing to manifestation I've always been interested in since I was a young girl is the mind. I always was interested in the mind, and I heard it once when I was a teenager that we only use less than 8%, less than 10% of our mind. And I was like, wow, what is this mind? What happens if we use the rest of it? And it was always very magical to me. I was And then from there, I was interested in personal development. I was always interested in becoming better and read so many books as a teenager, but as a hobby, never thought of it as it's going to be my job or source of income or anything like that. And then a few years later, when I was living in Europe, in Portugal, I got a hold of Abraham Hicks, who is a channeler on YouTube. That's, I don't know how long ago, gosh, many years ago. And I was just consumed by her teachings and vibration, good vibration, the vortex, law of attraction. And I was watching her videos daily and really consumed. And that's, I think, the first time I got into understanding what is the manifestation, what is law of attraction, what does that really mean? And the movie The Secret came out. And of course, I absolutely loved it. So many people watched it, and I was so fascinated by the law of attraction. But I tell you what, like the majority of people, I watched the movie and I tried many years and I was not able to manifest. And I let it go, forgot it. So many people get really upset. They think this whole thing is a scam. It doesn't work. That's not how I felt, but I forgot about it and got busy with life, finding a job, making money. And when I moved to Canada, I started my real estate business because I always wanted to have my own business. And that's what I love to help people who are in a 9 to 5 job and they are not satisfied and they know they can do more, be more. They want to start a business because that's what I did. And I'm really passionate about that. And just a little background, I come from a traditional family from Iran, Middle East, third world country. As a woman at that time in my life, no one told me you need to learn a skill to make money. Making money was not a thing for a woman. Now it's different. New generation is different. They're working, they're making money because simply one person cannot afford to be the breadwinner. But at that time, so the goal for a woman, for a girl, was to get married, which I did. And I went to university. I studied French literature just because I loved the sound of it. But I didn't have any business background, anything to make money. So I did different things, office jobs, admin jobs, but for a very short period of time. And I started my real estate business. And it was in the real estate business that I was really struggling. I didn't know how to find clients, how to make money. And I took few coaches, like real estate coaches. But one day I saw this YouTube video of Bob Proctor. So Bob Proctor was one of the teachers in the movie The Secret. And I really loved his style, his passion, the way his fire, the way he talks about the law of attraction. And if you can see it in your head, you can have it in your hand. And they were offering a free event, paradigm shift. And they said, everything you're experiencing in your life, all your results, your money, your finances, your business, your relationships, is a direct reflection of what is going on inside of you. And that's your paradigm. And I'm going to help you to shift that paradigm so that your results change. And I was like, oh my God, this is what I want. And that was a free event. I did that for 1 week and I was hooked because I liked Bob from The Secret, and what they shared really made sense, especially because I was working so hard, Sophia, in cold weather in Canada. I was door knocking every day. I was cold calling every day and I was not getting the result. Even with real estate coaches, I got a little bit of better result, but I was working way too hard and I knew something is wrong. I'm sure there are people who are watching this and they have experienced that. Why is it too much hustle and grind? Life is not supposed to be like that. This is not a right way of living. And so I took their program, their 6 months, was it 6 months? Yeah, 6 months program, paid program, which was quite expensive at that time, but I really believed it's going to help me. And long story short, it absolutely did. I finished a program. I became an award-winning agent in my office. I tapped into luxury real estate. And my colleagues were like, what happened to you? My manager was calling me a listing machine. You have so many listings. But after a year or two, I was not enjoying it as much. That was only like real estate for me always was like a vehicle to make money. It was really honestly never my passion. But I didn't know because I didn't have any business background. I didn't know anything else. And I didn't want to go back to university. That's what I did. But then I realized, like after a year or two, I realized I am talking more about Bob stuff and the mindset and the paradigm to people more than do you want to sell? Do you want to move? Because that's what you're supposed to do as a real estate agent. And I realized my interest has changed completely. Like I don't have any passion for real estate anymore. And I am really obsessed with teaching people about manifestation. And I decided to quit real estate. So I always, when I change jobs and even businesses, I always burn boats and start from scratch. And I firmly believe this is the best way of doing it, but not everybody can handle it. And I understand that it's scary. You have to have a really strong nervous system. So I quit real estate. I applied to become a licensed coach with Proctor Gallagher Institute, and that was a 1 year training, and that was also a lot of money. And my partner at the time, he was like, why are you doing this? You're so finally getting so good at real estate. You're making so much money. This is wrong. Don't do that. And I'm like, no, you have to listen to your heart. My heart is saying yes to this and no to real estate. I cannot do something that I don't love. And I highly encourage everyone who's watching this, please go after your heart. Go after what you love. There's a reason you love something. It is not random. It is for you. So I did that and I got my license and quit real estate and I became a coach. And I've been doing that for a few years full time now, teaching people how to manifest money, business, success, relationships, fulfillment, happiness. Believe it or not, there are a lot of people who reach out and they're just looking for more happiness. So that was my story.
And thank you. Thank you so very much for sharing that story. And what a wonderful story it is.
Thank you.
There's going to be a lot of people who take inspiration from you, especially the part of following your heart. You've put in all this work and this effort for numerous years in real estate, but then you come to a realization that it's not what you're passionate about anymore, and it's time to change. So thank you ever so much. And now you're very successful in helping others become who they want to be to manifest their dream life. So I just want to take a moment and honor you, just to really honor you to following your passion and being authentic. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sophia. It means a lot to me. Thank you. Yeah, it is scary in this day and age to go after your dreams because no one has taught us. Like the whole society, school, parents, they all want us to be safe. They all want us to be successful, and the only way they know how to be successful and safe is go to school, get a degree, do the safe thing, the safe job. But now I look back in my life, anytime I wanted something, I have done it because I just went for it. And it's not always easy, but the challenge is so important for your growth. We, as a culture, as a society, as human beings, we are so accustomed to run away from challenges and failure and pain. And I don't know where does that come from. It is not comfortable. We want to be comfortable. It is the survival system in your mind that want to keep you comfortable. But you're not going to get anywhere if you don't feel the pain and the hardship. Nothing is going to change. Nothing I always say comfort zone is a danger zone. You don't want to be in a danger zone. So go after your dreams, go after what you love. And I learned that when you have a passion and desire for something, it's because the fulfillment of that desire already exists. And that fulfillment, that existence is calling you, is making you to want it. We were just talking, me and you, before recording the session, how past and future doesn't really exist. Like right now, this is such a beautiful example. I always talk about that concept that past and future doesn't really exist in the universe. Everything is an infinite present moment. But that really hit me today. I realized, like, you're in Australia, you are living in Saturday, and I'm still on Friday. So I am in the past, you are in the future, but we are talking together in the present moment. So everything happens in the present moment. And your goal, your desire is really not in the future because there is no future. It is here, right now, energetically, on a different frequency, different vibration. There are unlimited levels of vibrations and frequencies. This whole universe is based on frequency. And your goal, your desire, what you want, your wish, the fulfillment of your wish is already here, right now. And so when you shift your paradigm, when you shift your frequency and vibration, you tap into that frequency and you can manifest it. Sometimes it feels and seems easy. Sometimes it takes longer because we need to learn how to shift that vibration.
We certainly do. And that, for a lot of people, for some people, it's actually really easy. Some people are born, I think we're all born happy, but some people have relatively joyful childhoods and grows up, and other people, through whatever they've experienced, have to really work at being happy. You know, I always have believed that being joyful, experiencing joy, is our true purpose on life, is to live this life in a joyful way. It's not meant to be hard. But human beings living in a 3D world, someone, sometime, decided that life had to be hard work. And now it is, but it's actually really meant to be easy. So thank you.
Yeah. I read it somewhere recently, actually, that because that's always was my question, why people think life is hard. Someone said because of World War One and Two, which affected the whole world, a lot of people got familiar with this hardship and it got engraved in their DNA, in their mind, in their whole system, like scarcity, not having enough, living off coupons for years after years. And let's say for rainy days, because that was their reality. So that was how they were living, and they taught that to their children. And then same thing goes generation after generation. But I believe now we have higher consciousness. We are more aware of past generations. The new generations are more aware than us. So it's time to change things. Really, it is time to shift things. And manifestation has become a buzzword in the last few years or even a couple of decades. But I always say, if you're not learning about manifestation and the laws of the universe and how your mind works, you're actually getting behind, because there are so many people, new generations, younger kids, they are learning it and they are thriving. They are going after their goals, they are killing it, they are living their best life, 20 something years old. So it is a tool, it is a power, it is a tool, it's a toolbox we have in our mind. God-given toolbox. I say God, you can call it universe, whatever you believe in, the creator, energy, infinite intelligence, has given us this toolbox in our mind that we can create and mold and co-create our life. That's the difference between human beings and the rest of animal kingdom. The rest of animal kingdom lives based on instinct, which is so easy and perfect. I'm sure they're very happy. But for us, we have to create, we have to co-create, we have to take responsibility, first of all. We have to take responsibility. We have to stop blaming society, stop blaming government, stop blaming your president, stop blaming your parents, because when you do that, you give all your power away. Take responsibility, take your power back, know that you have everything in your marvelous mind. And Bob said, your spiritual DNA is perfect. There are just some wrong limiting programmings that we've been given through, as I said, generations and generations, and we can learn how to remove those.
We can certainly. Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that. I'd love to go more into everything that you said, but a couple of things. Let's talk about manifestation first, manifesting, and then I want to get into the paradigm shift. But with manifestation, what does that really mean? And what happens if you get people like yourself when you're watching The Secret and things like that, that like they keep trying to raise their vibration or do the visualization, or you even have people who can't see anything, right? Not everyone can visualize.
Yeah.
But how can they manifest their dream life? What are some steps or something to remove these blockages?
Yeah, beautiful, great questions. What is manifestation? To me, manifestation, and I thought about it a lot and I had different definitions, but with my level of awareness right now, I believe manifestation is bringing 4D into 3D, bringing 4 dimension into 3 dimension. What is 3 dimension? Is time, space, reality, is what we are seeing through our senses and living through life in the time, space, reality. That's the 3D. What is 4D? 4D is not visible. It is energy. And our thoughts is an example of this 4D world. So what is a thought? A thought is an energy. It's not tangible. You can't hold it, but you can see it in pictures because our mind thinks in pictures. So the pictures, if you close your eyes and you see a picture, that's a thought, form of a thought. But as you mentioned, there's some people who cannot see visions, they cannot do visualization, but they still have thoughts. So bringing thoughts of what you want to create into the 3D world, so you can see it and you can live it. You can see it in your bank account, or you can see it as your partner in your bed, or whatever it is that you are manifesting. So it's bringing the thought energy into the physical reality. That's what I think manifestation is. And we are always manifesting. Like, we cannot stop manifesting. But most of the time, most of the people are manifesting unconsciously. That is why we are enjoying some of the things in our life and we are hating some of other things in our life. That's why we like some of things and we hate other things, because we are manifesting unconsciously without knowing how to really intentionally manifest. So we are getting random things. We're manifesting good things and bad things, a mix of everything. So that's manifestation. And then your other question was like, people like myself 20 years ago watch the movie The Secret, read the book The Secret, watch Bob Proctor's videos on YouTube, like nonstop, on repeat, self-help books, mindset books. Now that I can relate to that because that was me. And nothing really changes. Like you might feel a little bit better and start feeling happy, but your results don't change much. And that's because of the paradigm. So paradigm is like this programming that filters down everything. Like you, no matter how much you say affirmations, you write down affirmations, you visualize things. If you don't understand your paradigm, nothing is going to change. And that's what people don't know. And they get frustrated when they watch the movie The Secret and they think it doesn't work. It's not that it doesn't work, it's just The Secret and the law of attraction is just one part of this whole manifestation. And it was great to bring that awareness to public, but it was definitely not complete. There are other parts, and one of the most important parts of this manifestation process is the paradigm and understanding. So what is the paradigm? Paradigm is our multitude of habits fixed in our subconscious mind. It is our belief system. It is our limiting beliefs that most of the time we can consciously find out some of them, but majority of people, they cannot realize and understand clearly what are all their paradigms, because it's exactly like a blind spot, because we've been given this paradigm since early age childhood, most of it through our genes and genetic, the rest of it through our upbringing and our environment, which we don't even remember. And it's so fixed in our subconscious, it is part of us, and it's you cannot see your own blind spot. But a lot of it we can. A lot of it we can if we spend some time to think about it. For example, let me give you an tangible example for people to understand. Let's say a lot of people want to make more money. Money is always a big subject because we live in a 3D physical world, and there's nothing wrong with wanting money. Money is just another form of energy, it's an exchange. They know they can earn more money and they would love to have more money. They see other people in their industry or similar industries earning more money, but they also have a limiting belief that, for example, money is root of all evil. If I earn a lot of money, I'm going to be too busy and it's going to be too hard. And my life is going to get hard and I'm not going to have enough time to spend with my family. So conflicting beliefs all the time in relationships, in finances, in our business. And our job, if we want to understand the paradigm and fix it and start manifesting really the best life that we deserve, is to realize what those limiting beliefs are, what are our blocks, and through a process, which is going to take a few months at least. For me, it took a year or maybe close to 2 years. At least a few months, because if you think about it, the way that the paradigm is programmed in our subconscious mind is through generations after generations and through our upbringing from the moment we are born till the age of 7 and 8, through the repetition of the ideas, how your parents or your caregivers thought about money, how do they behave when it came about money, how was their relationship, how did they talk. These things, you don't remember them now, but they all went into your subconscious. You didn't have a conscious mind to filter and say yes or no. So they all were dumped into your subconscious. Now it takes a while, of course, to reprogram that. So we realize what are the limiting beliefs, what is stopping me, and then reprogram those with different ways, different programs. Affirmation is part of it, but it's not one and done. It is not you say affirmation once in a while and things change. You really have to be serious about this work. I hope I answered all your questions. I'm not sure.
You did, and I've got so many more. But yes, and I totally understand, especially the last part, that you really have to be serious because there is so much to take into consideration, especially when we go into the subconscious and all those subconscious beliefs that were programmed in there when we are a child. I said some people are, I'm not going to say fortunate, maybe, but some people's lives when they, as children, they grow up with money. So they program into that subconscious that money is easy. But other people who grow up as children where there isn't a lot of money, and as you're saying, especially in the earlier years, we have these beliefs that money is the root of all evil, or money is hard to come by, or whatever it is. And we carry that throughout our whole life and our adult life. We don't even realize it. And that's affecting us in manifesting, especially if it's around money. So yeah, so it's going in there and like reprogramming. And as you said, it's a very serious, affirmations do work, but it has to be a consistent basis.
Yeah, I would love to share one more idea because the paradigm is a combination of many different things. But one of the most important things is identity or self-image. So when I say you have to be serious and it takes time because there's so many different things, if you say affirmations, but your identity, your self-image, the way you think about yourself, your opinion about yourself, your self-worth, your self-love doesn't match the level of affirmation that you're saying, you can say that affirmation for the rest of your life. It's not going to do anything. Mm-hmm. So self-image or identity work, that's one of the things that I work with my clients, is such a key, is so important. And that's something that it's not the way you look. It's not the way you put yourself together. It is your idea, your internal idea about yourself. That inner dialogue that we are criticizing ourselves all the time, most of people, unfortunately, that needs to change. And when that change, a manifestation comes so much faster. Manifestation has a lot to do with self-worth. If you raise your self-worth and self-love and you see yourself deserving of living the best life possible, then you're at that frequency. And it's not like you're just faking it by affirmations. You really deep down believe in it. And then you say affirmations, and then that makes it more powerful. And then you do mirror work, saying affirmations in the mirror, or journaling, or scripting. Like, these are all amazing tools. But nothing, I would say, nothing would really replace the identity work and self-image.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you. And is this something that you did when you very first started to transform your real estate business? What are some of the steps that you took personally that helped you become very successful?
So what helped me in my real estate business, I had money blocks, and I had a limiting belief that it is hard to make money. So I was working hard, and I was making a little bit of money, but it was so hard. And so through the program that I took, which is the program that I now teach, I learned my limiting beliefs about work, hard work, hustle, grind. I had a lot of limiting beliefs in that area. I removed them. And also money blocks that I had, and I removed them through the program. But it's interesting, my identity and self-image, it didn't change immediately because I didn't focus on that for some reason. So the program is a 6 month program. It has 12 different modules. And I didn't take self-image that seriously. But then I realized that was one of the most important lessons. And I did that after I left real estate. When I became a coach, I did that. I worked more deeply, I spent more time on that. And I really shifted my identity as a coach, as someone who can help people change their lives, that's when I realized how important that is. And when you change that, your whole life changes. Like, you might want to change your identity and self-image for manifesting more wealth and abundance and better career, but your relationships change for better because you are becoming a different person. You're becoming a better version of yourself. For example, you're not reacting, you are responding. You're not letting your emotions control you. You are in control of your emotions. It's such a beautiful work, the identity. But yeah, so that's what helped me in my real estate business and also in my coaching business. And it's an ongoing work. It is, I am by no means perfect. No one is. There is always something to work on. There are always layers and layers, and they come up as we go through life. Something comes up, and you feel, oh, why did I do that? Or what is this result that I'm getting that I don't like it? And then you go back in. You just go back inside and see what you need to work on. And I love what you said about this whole purpose of life is happiness, and I completely agree. I feel like there's another purpose also. There's one purpose is being happy, absolutely enjoying this 3D physical world, enjoying the food, enjoying the nature, enjoying all the physical things, because our essence is not physical. We are here temporarily, so let's enjoy it, because this, our soul, which is energy, our soul and our source cannot experience this. So this is really important to experience and enjoy life. And another purpose of our life here is, I believe, to become a better version of ourselves. And it is not that we are not good enough. Our, so again, Bob said our spiritual DNA is perfect. So perfection, we have perfection within us, but we've been programmed. We've been raised in certain ways. And again, it goes back not only to our parents and grandparents, like ancestors, generations and generations. And we want to become, like, for me, my goal, my passion for me is to, when I'm like in my 80s and ready to go to the other side, I feel, okay, I have lived the good life. I really worked on myself. I really am a better person. I really am more compassionate, more understanding, more aware. And I just didn't just go through life drifting.
Thank you for that. And I hear you on that. And I have a feeling that you'll be living to much more than 80.
I hope so. I'm looking forward to 120.
Yes, and that is quite possible. Quite very, very possible. No, I think we also, without going too far off, but the age where we leave and go on our journeys is also a limiting belief. It is
Absolutely.
to live a lot longer than we are now and things. Yes. Thank you for sharing that.
I agree.
I'd love to know a little bit about vulnerability. In your experience too, what role does being vulnerable, what role does vulnerability play in breaking through all our barriers that we create?
It's so important. It is like we create these shells around us that, especially, like, I feel like as women, we have such a difficult role these days because you have to go out there and fight and make money and be independent and do this and that. And also at the same time, be feminine, have feminine and masculine energies at the same time. And it's so important to be vulnerable in society and for yourself and others. And when we do that, we encourage other people to be vulnerable. Because again, no one is perfect, and no one should expect themselves or others to be perfect. And we are learning and growing. And another thing that vulnerability helps is that I think it makes it easier to accept failure. And failure is just a part of the process, and it is a necessary part of the process. If you want to go after your heart desire, if you want to manifest your dreams, it has to be, it is going to be part of your life to fail. Why? Because you're going after something you haven't done before. Therefore, you're going to do some things that you haven't done before, and you're not going to do them perfect all the time. And in this day and age with social media and being online, vulnerability is so important. I think people would love to see that. People are just, and I feel like it's going to come up more and more, like accounts and influencers who put a facade of perfection and always getting it right. And it's causing a lot of people a lot of depression and anxiety, because you look at someone, some influencer Instagram, and there are many of them, and it feels like they are just riding the waves in the most beautiful way, and they got it all together. They got the business class flight, they got the love of their life. And please, let's not do that. That's such a harmful thing for human beings. Let's be vulnerable. I am not perfect. I'm sure no one is. Hey, my love life is a mess. I'm just gonna put it out there. And we are all struggling with something. Even my coach and my coach and my even Bob Proctor always said that. He said, I always make a mess. I always fail. I'm not perfect. After 60 something years of nonstop studying the mind and the paradigm and the manifestation and changing millions of lives that he did, he was still vulnerable, saying that I'm not perfect. So very important to be vulnerable and also authentic. I think they are like very related. Be authentic, be yourself. Doesn't mean share all the details of your life, but yeah, remove the masks a little bit, not completely, a little bit.
And slowly is okay, but yes,
Slowly is perfect.
people love realistic. People love that. I know there's a lot of people in the world that get caught up in reality TV, but that's like an escapism. But when you're talking to people, you can, if they're being real and authentic, or if they're hiding behind a mask. Oh, yeah, thank you. And I'd love to know also, in your journeys, in your business, right, helping others, what's a misconception about manifestation? You know, and how do you address it?
So many. Oh my God. So many. The misconceptions are so many. It's like one of them is that manifestation works sometimes for some people and it doesn't work always. That's a misconception. Some people have a stronger paradigm. Some people have a little bit more limiting beliefs, and it takes a little bit longer. It's not that it doesn't work. It always works if you stick to it. So that's a misconception. And I had this conversation with different people. They say, I think manifestation just works for some people. It doesn't work for me. No, you haven't been coached. You haven't had the correct system. You've been consuming videos on YouTube for free and reading books. That's not what's going to change. So that's another misconception. Like if I go watch a YouTube video and start manifesting or start creating a vision board, 2025 vision board. I've done vision boards. It's just none of them work. Again, some people have less of a strong paradigm, so it comes faster. They create a vision board and they manifest it in a year or two. But other people can do it too. It's just that it takes longer and they have to go through a process and understand how really manifestation works. And the other misconception is that I don't know why people feel like it has to happen within a certain period of time. And they give it a try for a month or two or 6 or sometimes a year. And if it doesn't work, they get disappointed. But let me tell you, some of my manifestations, even after I learned how to manifest and took one of the best teachers on the planet, it took me a couple of years. My other mentor, I have different mentors, all from Proctor Gallagher Institutes. Again, because we all have blind spots and we all need a mentor. Bob Proctor had a mentor. His mentor had a mentor. One of my mentors, he said it took him 3 years after studying, after learning, after having a coach. So give yourself time. And I don't know why we are, myself included, we are in rush for everything. We want what we want yesterday. And when we get it, it's, oh, it's here. Okay, what is next? Which is perfect, which is like our nature as human beings. We always want to expand and grow and have more and be more, do more. But let's give it time and let's stay consistent with manifestation. That's the key. And I always give this example of planting seeds. When you plant a seed in your garden, you're not going to go there tomorrow, dig the floor and see what, my plant is not here yet, my carrot is not here yet, what the heck, it's not working. You're not going to do that the next day. You're not going to do that the next week. You're going to give it time. You're going to water it. You're going to give it time. It takes weeks. It takes months, depending on the seed. And manifestation is planting seeds. You remember 4D to 3D? It is like planting those thoughts in your subconscious mind, and your subconscious is giving birth to that idea, that thought. And you need to give it time. How much time? The time is the only thing that is not up to us. It is up to the universe. And it is always perfect timing, even though we think we want it right now. If it is not coming right now, it means it is not time for you. Trust your journey, trust your path, trust your timing.
And that's a big step for a lot of people because, yes, we do live in a world of the quick fixes and instant everything, especially instant meals. It's, oh my God, people no longer have the time or spend the time in creation. So when they're wanting to manifest, yes, they want it now rather than allowing it to come when the universe is ready for it to come.
Absolutely. Yes, it is hard, but because everything is so fast and instant gratification, social media, scrolling, getting from one post to another post, and we are all feeling a little bit ADHD because it is the way we are living these days. That's why meditation is so important, so important. We need that. Like it's like a medicine in the way we're living right now. We need to meditate at least 10-15 minutes every morning to calm yourself down, because we go through day, I'm sure you experience that too, and everyone does. It's like you're bombarded with information from left and right. Yeah.
Totally. And it's also about allowing manifestation. We can do the practices. And as you said, we can create the vision boards, we can meditate, we can do the visualizations and the affirmations, but it's within the meditation and it's stepping into that space of allowing the universe to give to whatever we're wanting to manifest.
That's such a great point, Sophia. Such a great point. That was something that I had to learn. Allowing, or another word we can use for it, receiving. I realized I had a problem with receiving. And again, why? Because that goes back to me, that goes back to self-worth.
Yes. Yes.
And so it's when we increase our self-worth, we receive easily and we allow the universe to deliver. I don't want it to be hard. I am ready to receive. That's one of my mantras I say every day. I'm ready to receive.
And that is a really good mantra to have, because it gets you stepping into that process of just allowing that space. You're stepping into that space of allowing. So thank you for sharing that. And I'd love to know, before we wrap up, a few things. And I'd love for you to please come back because we can go on to our conversation.
Of course, I would love to.
But what does the future look like for your mission? The future of your mission look like? How can others be a part of it?
I love that question. I would love to, like right now, I serve people and I have clients and I have group coachings, mostly some one-on-one. I love to expand this community. And like for me, honestly, I'm so ambitious. I want to change millions of lives. But also I'm not in rush anymore. And I would love to do something like what Bob did to impact millions of people, hundreds of thousands of people, and not only impact them, but have the community. Because I fully believe in the power of human beings masterminding our energies. Bob said when two people get together, 1 + 1 equals 11, not 2. That's how much power we can create when we get together with like-minded, and I would love to say like-hearted people. So really looking forward to create this community. I've started a small community on my Facebook group and it's going to grow. I'm going to manifest it. More people who are really looking to go after their dreams, go after their desires, and do not settle. Those are my kind of people. And even if you don't know how, especially if you don't know how, that's your dream. You're not going to know how because you haven't lived it yet. And the how will show itself to you slowly as you start walking that path. It's like walking in the fog. You only see a couple of steps ahead of you, not the whole path, but you're going to get to your destination. So don't worry if you don't know exact steps, because that's one of the things that hold people back. They start thinking about their dreams, but immediately they cancel it, even without realizing. And a lot of things is subconscious. Our subconscious is 97% controlling our whole life. So don't let the how stop you and go after your dreams. And yeah, that's the future that I see for myself, is really being of service, uplifting people, helping them live the life that they are meant to live. They came here to live, not just settle down.
Yes, to live the life that you're meant to be, as you said, that we came here to live. So thank you for sharing that. And let's talk more on how Sacred You can be part of your mission. I'd love to do that. And also, Helia, what is one piece of advice that you could give? If you can go back in time, talking about time that's not a reality, but if you could go back in time, what would be one piece of advice that you would give to your younger self now?
Get a coach.
Mhm.
Get a coach. Honestly, I feel like people are going to watch that and say, oh, because she's a coach, she's saying that. No, that's when everything changes. Because no, I'm telling you, I read so many books since I was 16, 17, self-help books, mindset books, and then manifestation books and manifestation YouTube videos, day after day. Really nothing changed in my life after I got a coach. There is something about having another human being really observing you, talking to you on a weekly basis, understanding your patterns and your paradigm as you speak to them, as you share with them how you're living your life day to day. And then they will point your paradigm, and then they will be able to point your blind spots and help you. It is not about the amount of knowledge. I always say that knowledge is out there, but do you see people consuming knowledge and not changing their life all the time? It's not about knowledge. It is about accountability, and it is about implementing. And a coach can help you. If I got a coach when I was 20 years old, I would be way ahead, but no regrets. But to answer your question, if someone is watching this and they are young, or whatever age, doesn't matter, wherever in their life they are, the sooner you do that, the better. Get a coach, not necessarily me. Go get someone else if you want. but get a coach for implementation of the things that you learn and accountability.
Absolutely. Certainly makes a big difference when you are accountable to another person.
Absolutely, yes.
Certainly does. Thank you for sharing that. And tell us about you again, like your business and how you help people, because you are a coach. You help people to be able to manifest their dreams. So tell us about what you offer.
Yeah, I'm very focused in what I do. There's just so many different manifestation methods, and there's so many new manifestation gurus coming up. I believe in Bob Proctor and his teachings because his knowledge and his understanding and wisdom comes from Earl Nightingale and Napoleon Hill, the author of Think and Grow Rich. These were his mentors. So it goes back to people who really knew what they're doing and changed millions of lives. So I got licensed by Bob Proctor organization, which is called Proctor Gallagher Institute. And that's what I teach. I teach Bob's programs and teachings, and everything is online. All my clients are from all over the world. The program that I teach, there are different programs, but the main programs are 6 months length and all online. And they're about manifestation, they're about changing your paradigm, rewriting your subconscious limiting beliefs, and really achieving your goals. And it is mindset, it is technical, it has action steps, and it also has a spirituality to it. So that's why I love Bob's work, and that's what I do.
Looking forward to hearing more, much, much, much more. And I'd love to know, Helia, is there anything else that I could have asked you? And how would you answer? Is there any other questions you'd like to share?
Something came to my mind is that if someone watching this and for whatever reason they are going through some hardship in their life, I want to challenge you to think about the hardship that you're going through actually a good thing, not a bad thing. And I want you to think about this example of a lot of spiritual and mindset laws are very similar to our physical laws. For example, if you are someone who want to grow your muscles, who want to get a toned body, want to have bigger muscles, more toned muscles, that's not going to happen by sitting on a couch and being comfortable and happy. I wish it would, but that's not how it happens. You really literally have to go to the gym. And what is gym? Going through pain. Your muscle physically needs to be torn in order to get bigger and stronger. It's the exact same law for your personality, for your mind, for your soul. It needs to be torn. It happens through pain. Embrace the pain. Because when you do that, don't fight it back. When you don't fight it back, when you don't want to get over it as fast as possible, and you say, pain is here to teach me something. I am growing, I'm expanding, I'm becoming a better version of myself. Believe me, that's exactly what is going to happen. Through pain, you grow. That's what I wanted to share. And also, I wanted to offer some of my free resources, if I may. I do offer free live events and master classes every couple of months. By the time you're going to post this video, it's probably the February one was going to be gone. But after April, I'm going to have another one. And every couple of months, I have these live master classes that I really teach and deliver value. It is not waste of time. I absolutely believe in the law of cause and effect. I teach and I serve, and people who resonate, they join my coaching program. If not, you can absolutely take what you learned during that event and you learn a ton. So I really highly recommend you get in touch with me somehow and find access to those free events. I also have a free workbook that I created based on Bob's teachings, and it's called Manifest Wealth. and it has a lot of practices to manifest wealth and finances specifically. And it has a powerful affirmation, one of Bob's most powerful affirmations about money. And I will definitely share the link with you so people can enjoy that, spend time going through that, and really try to manifest more wealth and abundance, which is fun.
Thank you. Ever so appreciated. And again, I'd like to honor you. And for everyone who is listening or watching, do click on those links, because we will be putting all of your links down below this video. So do click on there and reach out to you, even if you just want to have a chat.
Absolutely. Yes, I would love to have a chat.
Definitely, possibly getting some coaching and attending your events. It is so wonderful when people like your beautiful self do offer the free events, because you never know who could be listening or watching and wishing to attend, and it changes their life. Totally.
It does. Yes. I always get so many testimonials that during, and they don't necessarily become clients, but they leave a testimonial that this 1 week event absolutely changed my life. Or even within the event, before the end of the event, I get that so many times. I manifested $2,000. I manifested a new client, because your vibration shifts when you come to these events. It is about consciousness, it is about awareness, it is about shifting your vibration. And again, I believe in the law of reciprocity, law of cause and effects. And that's what I learned from Bob. Serve, put the good out there, and the universe will give it back to you, either through same people or through some other people.
It certainly will. So thank you ever so much for joining us today on the Pathway to Wellbeing. And last question, really, possibly last question, I know, because I just thought of it. What do you do on a daily basis to maintain your pathway to wellbeing, your well-being?
That's a great question. I have fine-tuned my days and my life and my schedule so much, but I'm very serious about my morning routines. All successful people in all walks of life, they have a very solid, good morning routine. Your day will be dictated by the way you start your day, your mornings. So I wake up at 5:30. I have 1 hour of all my manifestation practices, meditation, visualization, affirmation, writing down my goal, visualizing my goal, scripting, connecting to my guides. I do that recently. I'm connecting to my heavens team, trying to get messages. That's for 1 hour. And the second hour, I study. I study Bob or something similar, or Neville Goddard or Earl Nightingale, and I will do that for the rest of my life. And then the third hour, I go to the gym and I move my body and I sweat. And so the morning, the 3 hours in the morning is specifically for me. And if I don't, before I do anything else, I have to do these things. And if I have a busy day, I either wake up a little bit earlier or I shorten those times. And then it is important to know from the night before what you want to do in a day, and not do things that keep you busy, not a to-do list to check. But one of the things I learned from Bob, and I teach my clients, is 3 to 6 needle moving activities that you know you need to do on that day for your work, for your life, or whatever it is. And if you don't finish those, you just move them to the next day, and then you just move them to the next day until you finish them. And really at night also, it is very important what you do, what you consume. Like one of my clients, when I first started with him, he told me he put ear pods and he listened to news before falling asleep. And I'm like, stop it right away. You cannot do that, because everything you're listening to, especially when you are feeling sleepy as you're falling asleep, goes to your subconscious mind. So you can listen to your own recording saying positive affirmations, which is a powerful practice. I teach that to my clients. Or read something positive, or know no electronics, no cell phone, no distraction, and just have a peaceful night and make sure what is it you're putting in your mind before you fall asleep, so that when you sleep, your subconscious is working on those ideas. So basically, that is what my days look like most of the time.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Helia, for sharing that. And thank you so
You're
much
welcome.
for coming on the Pathways to Wellbeing. And I really do look forward to chatting with you again sometime very soon.
Absolutely. My pleasure, Sophia. Thank you so much for the opportunity, for having me. And yeah, I would love to talk to you again. It was fun.
It was. And please do come back sometime very soon.
Absolutely. Would love to. Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us today on this transformational journey with Helia. Remember, your thoughts are powerful creators of your reality. Manifesting your dreams begins with shifting your paradigm, aligning your beliefs with your desires, and taking inspired action, which includes clicking on the links below to find out more on everything that Helia offers. For more empowering conversations, tools, and strategies, do follow Sacred You on all social media or visit our website at www.sacredyou, that's the letter U, .love. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button or give us a like so that you never miss another episode. It's time to take that step and embody who you really are. Thank you so much for tuning into our podcast. Stay grounded, stay inspired, stay connected, and until next time, keep walking your pathway to well-being.